18th, 2025, 5 o'clock in Cayce City Hall chambers. The press and public have been notified according to the Freedom of Information Act?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. I believe Councilmember Thomas?
Yes, ma'am.
has
Yes,
an
ma'am.
invocation?
Yes,
Thank
ma'am. No, thank you. Pray with me if you will. God, thank you so much for this beautiful day and for allowing all of us to wake up in the beautiful city of Cayce. I ask that you please protect our first responders and our staff as they travel along our highways to protect us and give us amazing service. And God, just please, this summer, allow our teens to stay safe and kids as they enjoy this beautiful summer. Allow them to make wise and smart decisions. But more importantly, God, just allow them to always make it home to their parents. And God, just thank you so much for all the blessings you've given us that we never tell you thank you for. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
So, Mayor, I know that you normally have someone to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance, and being that tonight is Jim Crossland's last night leading us as our city manager and a veteran of the Coast Guard and a leader of the city and a previous law enforcement officer, which always runs deep in his blood, it's our honor to be able to ask him to lead us tonight in the pledge.
Sure. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have public comment regarding items on the agenda.
I didn't even check.
You're fine. Take your time.
No one signed up, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a presentation by Central Midlands Council of Governments on Solar Project Memorandum of Understanding.
This is presented by the COG with the Utilities Department.
Hi everyone, my name is Jocelyn Balkenstein. I am with the Central Midlands as our program manager for our sustainability.
Jocelyn, I'm going to let you move that any way you need to, and you can scoot it down or scoot it closer to you, whatever you need, so, because we want to be able to hear you.
Good.
Is that better? Awesome.
so, yes.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Alright, so I am the program manager with our security implementation grant. Next slide. Alright, so this is about our municipal solar and smart services, or our S3 fund. We have a total grant of about $8.7 million. Our time frame is going to be from November 2024 to November 29. It's a 5-year grant. And we are the awardee here at Central Midlands COG, and we are going to be doing this in partnership with local municipalities. We have 8 projects in our phase 1, including you guys, which is our municipal solar. Next slide. So, the project we are talking about today is a 15-acre solar project at the Metro Wastewater Treatment Plant. It's about a 2-megawatt solar installation. It is anticipated to generate revenue for about 30 years at this very high electricity usage site, and we are going to be leveraging grant funds to improve our project economics. What we're looking at today is the Memorandum of Understanding. This is a no-cost commitment at this time. You can withdraw at any time. All this does is it enables our different utilities in the community to participate in the RFP process. So that's looking at contractors and just kind of really exploring this opportunity more in depth. Once we get a little further down the line, we would replace our MOU with an intergovernmental agreement, but that would happen once we know our full costs and our full benefits. Again, the MOU at this time is a no-cost agreement, and you can withdraw at any time. Benefits that we're looking at is the ability to use predictable income to leverage grant funds, so for future grant matching, and to benefit low-income communities through potentially community assistance funds for paying for utilities. Obviously, decrease regional air pollution by using cleaner energy, and it is a collaborative project with multiple different utility providers to kind of build community. Next slide. So our estimated project timeline
Today, right now, we are looking spring, summer '25 to establish our MOU and do a pre-RFP site visit. Coming up in summer and fall of '25, we are going to send out that RFP, should be open for about 30 to 60 days. We'll get bids in. We'll get more in depth on what the actual benefits and what the actual costs of this project are going to be. Then in fall of '25 is when we would look at transitioning into that intergovernmental agreement and contracting an actual firm to get this project on the ground. Spring '26, fall of '27, we should be breaking ground and starting the construction of the solar arrays. And then once we hit about spring '28, fall '28, we should be wrapping up with construction and beginning to collect our post-construction data. Next slide. Thank you. So that is all I have for you. My colleague George Fleming is going to join me up here and we will answer any questions you have.
Thank you, that was very helpful. Any questions?
None from me, Mayor.
I don't thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
this is
you.
wonderful. Thank you. We're excited about this. Thanks for all the work that y'all are doing, and thank Mr. Sprouse, too. Next, we have a presentation by Ardura Group, WK Dixon, regarding qualifications for engineering services.
Okay, good spot here.
Good.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for setting that up right. Madam Mayor, esteemed council, thank you for having me this evening. I'm Jeremy Brashears. I'm with the Ardura Group. Betsy and Al saw it in their wisdom to make sure that y'all knew who we were. Ardura Group is a little bit new here to the area. Next stop. So, as of October last year, I was a vice president with WK Dixon. WK Dixon is probably a little bit more of a well-known name here in the area. We've been serving South Carolina and the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, for the last 97 years. As of October of last year, we merged together with Ardura. Ardura is a national group, gives us a little bit deeper of a bench, more resources, but they didn't really have a presence here in the Southeast. So the 250-person firm that was WK Dixon actually ended up growing by about 100 people that we integrated into our region here in the South, making us even of a larger of a presence here in the South. But we still have the same team that we've been serving the area with for the last 97 years. So, give you a little bit picture. We do have a local office here in Columbia, as well as offices across South Carolina and the Southeast. You see me down there in the lower left with a little bit less of a beard. Got Angie Metlin. She's a pretty well-known name here in the state of South Carolina. She's our regulatory and funding expert. She really helps us help our clients identify what funding opportunities may be out there, may be available, that we can pair with a lot of the projects that we put so that you can leverage the funds that you're already going to put towards your infrastructure projects and make them worth even more. See Danielle Dowd in the middle right there. She is going to be our project manager for the project that comes up that we discuss later. And she gave birth to her second child about 3 weeks ago. So she is out for a little bit, getting her family where it needs to be, but she'll be back with us in not too long. But she is an excellent project manager who has done a lot of work here across the Midlands with some really good references. Bill Young is in our Low Country office. He's our group leader down there. Decades of experience, a great person to fall back on for a lot of our folks. Star Stanfield, he's here in our local Columbia office, project manager. He's got a pretty cool background. He's worked across the Southeast. He's worked both in water and wastewater, some storm water, both in the nuclear field as well. About 30 years of experience, but he's going to be heavily involved supporting Danielle. Michael Cameron, he's our GIS asset management modeling lead. He's here locally in our Columbia office. Angela Nicholson is a great human being. I count myself blessed every time I get to work with her. She leads up our data analysis group, and she's local here in Columbia as well. Donald Phillips is in our upstate South Carolina, our group leader, and Brian Tripp oversees our entire practice, ensuring that we have not only the resources for y'all on your team here, but we can draw from across the country and get any technical expertise we need on our projects. So a little look at who we are here in the Southeast. We have 41 offices here in the Southeast, 5 offices in South Carolina, and over 450 professionals just here in the Southeast that can support on just water and wastewater. across the country, little less significant. I mean, we want to remain the local resource to help you guys out, build relationships, and do what we need to do. But this is who we are now as Ardura, beyond just W.K. Dixon. I like to call it the smile, starting Pacific Northwest all the way down through California, Texas, Florida, and now up through the Southeast with W.K. Dixon. But we go beyond just water and wastewater. Water and wastewater is probably about 45% of the work we do. But we also do watershed services, that's stormwater. We're excellent at funding and regulatory guidance. Program management, we have quite a few alternative delivery programs out there, be that CMAR or getting the contractors involved earlier in the process. Land development, we do work with 7 of the top 10 land development companies in the United States, throughout the Southeast and elsewhere. Cultural resources, transportation, we do have a very large transportation group as a company if there are things that we can bring to the table on that. When we got together with Ardura, one of the coolest projects that I learned about is we're redoing the bridge across the Keys. And that's just pretty neat to be involved with a company that's doing a project like that. Aviation, we were one of the top aviation firms at W.K. Dixon here in the Southeast already, but we've gotten even stronger as part of Ardura. We have in-house electrical instrumentation and control, and we've been helping out quite a bit with disaster management here since Helene and a couple of other storms, helping out Asheville and some of our folks in the western part of the state as well. So we do have that expertise also to offer. To finish up, smattering of our clients here in the area. I put together the slide just to show some of the ones that we're definitely proud of. You know, you can see over there on the right-hand side a list of a lot of the folks we work with. That is by no means comprehensive, but you can see at the bottom there, the RIA, the Rural Infrastructure Authority. We have done a lot of work with them. When they needed to do the utility sustainability assessment statewide, they chose W.K. Dixon, our Ardura team, to do that for them, to develop a toolkit for them to analyze the needs prior to the ARPA funding coming out, and used a lot of our recommendations to help guide the Assembly to figure out how much money to allocate for those. Since that time, they have also chosen us to help them develop board curriculum for training of municipalities across the state, as well as technical assistance grants that are coming up. We were recently selected by them as one of 2 firms to help out with those. I've put both the orange and the garnet up there. We are very proud of the fact that I think we're the only firm who for more than a decade has been on the on-call for both of those universities. Many of our folks are from the upstate and they bleed orange. I would tell you go Cox. I did graduate from USC. So in the middle, that's kind of a point of pride for us. You know, in the water and wastewater business, a lot of what we do, we dig a hole and we bury it in the ground. You know, it's so that you can turn on the faucet and the water comes out or flush the toilet and it goes away. It's for everybody's safety and all that good stuff. But that tank, that's the Wildcat tank for Joint Municipal. That's right there by the high school. And we finished that up for them recently, and just to see kids out there taking their pictures with that in the background, it's pretty cool to point to and say, hey, you know, we were a part of that, we did that. And I've got 2 daughters, to be able to point to say something and say, hey, we did that, you know, it didn't just go away. That's pretty cool. And then that top left one, it's hard to understand what's going on there, but that's a big old wet out bag that's hanging over a hole. That was for East Richland Public Service District. That was at the golf course. We helped them reline their major interceptor underneath the golf course there. And you want to talk about a project where you make sure that the public knows what's going on while you're out there the whole time. You're letting people play through. You're not getting in the way of the community, and you're communicating really well. That was a good project for us as well. But whole list of clients there for you to refer back to. I always say that every single one of our clients is a reference. So why Ardura? We have extensive municipal experience. We know water and wastewater. Our approach is always to look at how we can leverage your funds into the projects you have so that not only your funds are being used, but the funds that are available to you on a public basis are also being considered. We'd like to successfully collaborate with you guys. We don't come in knowing what to do. We like to hear what the stakeholders have in mind before we move forward. And we focus on long-term partnerships. I've included some other things in here just for your future reference. I know this will be printed out as part of your packet. You can see here, we are a larger firm than we were previously. 2023 water supply number 20, we're now number 19. Water treatment and desalination, number 12, number 11. We're a big company. I don't pride myself in being a big company. I pride myself on having the resources as a big company to continue to serve our clients locally better than we ever have in the past. And these last few slides, again, are going to be for information. We do it all. Water treatment and distribution, everything from transmission mains, water treatment plants, ground surface water, whatever it may be needed. Go ahead and proceed with the next one. Same thing with wastewater treatment and conveyance, pump stations, collection systems, rehab of collection systems, wastewater treatment plants. We have the resources to help out with all of the above. But again, I'm going to bring it back across the board to funding guidance. We really do pride ourselves in making sure that your dollar is being used to the best it possibly can be. We can design anything you want us to as an engineer, but if we are looking at the scheduling of that, the available funding through many different programs that may be out there that you can tie to each of those projects, we can get even more done with your dollars and help you schedule and use those responsibly into the future. And with that, that's our DURA. If you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Regarding funding, like when I look at FEMA, EDA, is that grants that y'all have helped cities get for projects?
Absolutely.
How has it been navigating the new administration? As we all know, there's been some cuts to certain grants and everything. I'm just curious.
Sure. Well, we would all be just absolute geniuses if we could look into our crystal ball and figure out what the administration's going to do. But until anybody can do that, we keep up to date on both the federal level, the region level, the state level, how it's being appropriated on a day-to-day basis. We offer those updates to our clients, but we recommend that you proceed full steam through pursuing what makes sense for your projects now. If there are cuts, it's going to be what it's going to be. Those decisions are going to be made. But if there are not cuts, we want you to be out there going full steam ahead and in the proper position to utilize the funds that are allocated presently.
Yes, sir. No, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Next, we have approval of a proclamation for Post-Traumatic Growth Day, and if council would be comfortable with making a motion, voting on it first, then I'll read it. I believe we have a guest who's here.
Motion to approve
Second.
the proclamation, Mayor.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Second.
Thank you. I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you. So moved. Mr. Charles, come up here. You want to tell them who you are? Oh, you can.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Elise, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Sure, my name is John Charter, I'm Director of Development out of the Big Red Barn Retreat. If you haven't heard of us, you are very lucky today, and we invite you to come out and join us. With me is Lamont Christian, America's Drill Sergeant, if you don't know him, and he's the lifeblood that's happening out there with post-traumatic growth. We have a range of services and programs available to veterans, first responders, active duty, and family members. So please come visit us. We'll give you a tour. We'll tell you what we're up to out there. All our services and programs are offered at no cost, and we build better lives for our American heroes. Those who served us in our communities deserve our service. So we're happy to be here and be recognized today.
Thank you.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add to that is that we support our defenders, those people that defend our communities as well as our nation. So our first responders are often left out of some of the robust health systems that we have. And so we look at it from a mental wellness as opposed to a mental health approach. And so that we can get in front of or upstream of our issues that we're dealing with in society. And that's how we give back. And again, as John said, it's through the investment of our community supporting us that we're able to do this at no cost to the members as well as their family members. So we're really thankful for this opportunity to identify something that most of us may not be aware of. How many of you are familiar with PTS? And usually two hands will go up. How many of you until today heard of post-traumatic growth? So again, that's why we're so grateful, Mayor and the council, that you'll take an opportunity to share this with your community so that we can all learn about this thing called post-traumatic growth, which actually already exists. We just need to tap back into it. So thank you again.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you explained that, because it is an important concept. We tend to think we go through tough times and we only can be diminished by them, but this post-traumatic growth information is really critical and that we can actually be better after them. So I'll read this proclamation for Post-Traumatic Growth Day. Whereas struggles in life is an experience that profoundly affects individuals, their families, and communities, leaving lasting emotional and psychological scars. Whereas in the face of struggle, many individuals demonstrate remarkable resolve and the capacity to recover and also grow and thrive. Whereas post-traumatic growth acknowledges the potential for positive psychological change and personal transformation that can arise from the struggle with trauma. Whereas the journey toward post-traumatic growth involves the exploration and development of new perspectives, values, and life goals, as well as the cultivation of greater personal strength, appreciation of life, and deeper interpersonal connections. Whereas the Big Red Barn Retreat has been instrumental in providing innovative and effective programs and resources to support individuals on their path to post-traumatic growth. Whereas the impact of post-traumatic growth extends beyond the individual, contributing to the well-being and strength of families, communities, and the state of South Carolina as a whole. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize and honor the strength and courage displayed by individuals on their journey of post-traumatic growth, and to raise awareness about the positive possibilities that emerge from traumatic experiences. Now, therefore, I, Elise Parton, Mayor of the City of Cayce, and on behalf of Council, do hereby proclaim June 13th, 2025 as Post-Traumatic Growth Day, and commend the efforts of the Big Red Barn Retreat and other organizations for their invaluable contributions to the field of post-traumatic growth and their commitment to supporting individuals in their journey towards resilience and transformation, and calls upon state and local agencies, as well as other nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, and the private sector to promote awareness and understanding of post-traumatic growth, and to support initiatives that foster resilience, healing, and growth in individuals and communities affected by trauma. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's perfect. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Next, we have discussion and approval of Greater Cayce West Columbia Chamber of Commerce's budget of planned expenditures of accommodations tax funding.
Mayor, I have submitted a recusal form for this.
And Madam Mayor, I will recuse myself from voting on this matter as well. The matter before council would award funding to the Cayce West Columbia Chamber of Commerce. As many of you know, I have been volunteering with the chamber since 2022, even before I took my role as a councilman. I have been advised by the city attorney that my volunteer work does not create a conflict of interest in this matter. I also consulted outside legal counsel experienced in municipal law, who likewise confirmed that this doesn't create a legal conflict. As a member of city council, I have a duty to vote on the matter that comes before us. However, a question has been raised about a possible conflict of interest. I entered the public service to work for the greater good of Cayce's citizens, and I do not want this concern to distract us from the important work we're trying to do for the betterment of this beautiful city. I believe our community expects leadership that focuses on solutions, not distractions. To avoid any appearance of a conflict of interest, I have chosen to recuse myself from this vote. In my first speech as a councilman, I said our C stands for community. That remains my guiding principle. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there someone here to present?
No, we don't. Madam Mayor, members of council, in your packet, there is the submission of the CWC Chamber of their expenditures through the budget for approval.
But there's,
No presentation. Just what you have in your packet.
can we start, Will, I know you asked for this agenda item to be on this agenda. Can you go over that for us?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. So as you all know, at the last meeting, council voted to select the Chamber of Commerce as the sole recipient of these so-called 30% accommodations tax funds. Under state law, the city is required to take 30% of the A tax funds and select one or more local organizations that perform tourism, advertising, and publicity services, and send those 30% funds to that organization. And the last meeting, the Chamber of Commerce was selected by a vote as the sole organization to receive those funds. So under state law, now that it's been allocated, once the start of the fiscal year hits, the city is required to send those funds. However, the statute also requires that organization that's receiving the funds to submit before the start of the fiscal year for approval a budget of planned expenditures for the funds. That can be done as part of the same vote. In this instance, it was not, because there was no budget of planned expenditures for this recipient before council at the last meeting. And so I requested that this be added just to make sure that everybody involved is complying with that statutory process where the budget of planned expenditures is produced to the city and brought to council for its consideration.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But, and so we are voting on approving or not approving this budget?
Correct. It's not a vote on selecting the recipient, because that was already done, and those funds will go to them. It's a vote on whether to approve this proposed budget of planned expenditures.
Okay, how are we going to do that well without a representative from the chamber here to answer any questions?
Well, I would just say that you have in your packet the information that was submitted.
Not your responsibility, yeah, it's not really yours to answer, so that's okay, thank you.
Mayor, I make a motion, we accept the chamber's budget as presented.
Second.
Can y'all show me where the budget is? I don't think I have it.
I'm just looking at the white paper that was submitted with this, I don't see, yeah, the date is June 12th, and it's from Christina West with the chamber.
You're talking about the letter?
Yes, the letter.
Okay.
It has some bullet points with some numbers.
Is that a budget?
In their opinion, apparently, yes.
Okay. To me, this isn't a budget. It's, the law says to approve a budget that is designed to be used for advertising and promotion of tourism. I don't see a budget that does that. The amount that was from the motion would be $44,175. That's only supposed to be spent in Cayce. And just, I mean, maybe we should take a step back and look at tax money, accommodations tax money, is not Cayce's citizens' tax money. It's when you go to a hotel, you very likely would see on that hotel bill, there's a very small amount that would be accommodations tax. So when people come to our city and they stay in a hotel, they are paying. So this is people coming from other places, coming to our city, staying in our hotels. On that bill, there's a very small amount that says accommodations tax. So that amount is supposed to be used by state law to bring more tourism inside our city. It doesn't matter what entity does it. It doesn't matter if it's the chamber. It doesn't matter if it's Experience Columbia. It doesn't matter if it's Lake Murray Country, as long as they have a dedicated tourism arm. So that part doesn't matter. What matters is any one of those three or all three of them can only use that money to benefit people coming to Cayce. That's the caveat, is it's got to be spent not in the greater CWC area, not in Lexington County, not in Columbia, only in Cayce. That $44,000, $175, should only be used for programs in Cayce. And I'm really confused why we don't have anybody here to help us navigate this, because I have a lot of questions. I mean, I'll just state them, I guess, to get them on the record. One is looking at the chamber website and looking at the staff and the job titles. There's no one there that is solely focused on tourism. So that's a concern. What was submitted says that they are going to hire, let me see, it says, this unexpected increase in grant money hereby allows us to hire a dedicated employee for the greater CWC visitor programs. Is that employee only going to be doing work for Cayce? Because that's how that money should be. If you're going to use that $44,175 for a position, then that person should be dedicated only to our city, not working in the greater CWC. So that would be my first question that I don't have any answers to. The second is, does the law even allow for that money that is by law to be used for advertising and promotion of tourism to hire a person? My understanding is it does not. You know, this money is meant to bring people to our amazing museum. It's meant to bring people to the 12,000-year history park. It's meant to bring people to our restaurants and to our hotels. This letter says that the website is updated daily, but I had to look really hard to find a number of our businesses, and all of our restaurants should be on there, but they're not. George's South Side was buried way below some McDonald's and some Bojangles. Lucky's Sports Bar and Grill isn't even listed. Trini Lime Caribbean Cafe isn't listed. Tacos Nayarit is not listed. So I'm not really sure how restaurants are added. Henry's restaurant that's been closed for a long time, it's still on there. These are things that I need, that we all should want answers to, because we want to support our local restaurants and our hotels. I don't have information on the website count. They talk about their website being a big source, but I don't know how many people actually go to that website. The parade, I don't think we have any zip code data. The Tartan Day South gives us zip code data from all the people that go to that event, so we know we're pulling people in from far away. And so for their event, they're using that money wisely. I don't have zip codes for the parade. I love that parade. My kids have grown up enjoying that parade. But is it pulling people from 50 miles out, people that would stay in our hotels? That's the data that we need to know. That's our fiscal responsibility with this money. It also talks about a visitor center. I'm not sure that by state law that money can be used for a building. That building is not advertising and promotion of tourism. It's a building. There's $102,000 that's listed for the visitor center, and it says office, and it's that third bullet point, office and kiosk available 4 days a week. So is it not even open on the weekends when people are going to be here to go to our Riverwalk or to need hotel information or restaurant information? I really just don't understand. I don't know why we are, even if it is legal that they can hire a person with that money. And my understanding of the law is that it doesn't. I'd be glad to know otherwise. But why would we not use agencies like Experience Columbia and Lake Murray Country that have trained professionals, that literally this is all their job is to do this, and they've been doing it for years? why would we create that redundancy? Also, it's my understanding that Lake Murray Country and Experience Columbia get matching money. So our money goes further. They get matching money from the state. I would have loved to have answered if that happened at the chamber. It's my understanding it doesn't. So we missed out on a whole lot of money that could benefit our hotels and our restaurants. Also, it's my understanding that Experience Columbia and Lake Murray Country have collective bulk ad buys, meaning that money goes further because they can get things for less. I would have loved to know if that was the same with the chamber. It's my understanding that it's not, but I don't have anybody here to tell me if that is the case. This is not a budget for $44,175 to be spent on Cayce. That's what we're supposed to be approving. I would love to have this postponed to the next meeting so that we can get somebody here to answer those questions. And if council isn't interested in that, I would love to see if at the next meeting, something that might help council, because I know y'all believe passionately that this is the right thing. Let's put on the next agenda to have them present what they did with last year's money. Because that would make everybody feel better, to see where all that money went and to know that you guys made a wise decision, that it went really far. Would y'all be in favor of adding that to the next agenda?
I was under the impression until today they were presenting. I want to move forward with this, but also I would love to see last year's as well. So if we can ask them to come give a presentation, yes, but I'm fine moving forward with it. The money's already been allocated. You know, in my mind, I want to keep the money as local as we can and as close to the city and in the city for an organization that's doing this work. And, you know, there's also restaurants and hotels that aren't on the Lake Murray Country and Experience Columbia website either. So I do want to make that point. But I do want to see a presentation because I do believe I've heard some of these numbers from the parade, and they are pretty awesome. And so I want the public to know that as well. So I would love to see a presentation from them, but I don't want that to hold up this tonight so we can keep moving forward.
Yeah, I would concur with that, but I do have some things when you're done, Mayor.
Okay, all right, so if we're good, Jim, will you make a note for the next council meeting to ask for a presentation to show us what they did with last year's money, and particularly if they can put the receipts, so we can put them in the council packet, so everybody can see them. That'll make everybody feel better. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so first off, thank you, Mayor, for your comments. And since our city attorney addressed the potential issue with Councilman Thomas voting last time, and it was raised in a newspaper, I'd like to briefly address that I find it, I don't want to use the word disappointing, I find it almost despicable that a newspaper would target an individual, a sitting individual elected official with simple innuendo about an ethical, folks, it's about the worst thing when you hear is an ethics issue. It's horrible in so many different ways. And I got to looking back on some things, and I'll get to that in a minute, with the fact that Councilman Thomas
So,
served.
I think they're saying they can't hear. Can you move
Oh, I'm
your
sorry.
mic down?
I think
I'm
James
sorry,
was
I'm
trying to
sorry.
turn it up too.
Is that better? The fact that Councilman Thomas sits on the board of one of the subcommittees of the chamber, and yes, he did vote, and he chose to recuse himself tonight, which is certainly his prerogative. But I went back and looked at some things and thought about some things from the past. Again, I've told you how many times I've been around here a long time, and I thought back to many years ago, the Airport High School Educational Foundation had a tennis tournament, and they would always apply for hospitality funds. And a couple of years they were awarded while that thing was still going, and I sit on that board. But yet, the media chose not to do their homework, and I didn't have an ethical issue raised. Our Tartan Day Festival works through the River Alliance. Mayor, if I'm not mistaken, you're on the board of the River Alliance. Is that an ethical violation? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We can't, with a revolving door, people running in and out of this room, if we eliminated everybody that votes from every board that they sit on. The mayor sits on lots of things. There's elected officials all over this county that sits on the RADAC boards and different boards that receive money from those entities. And there's never been an ethical violation raised against any of them. And again, I find it disgusting that Councilman Thomas was targeted in this way. A new guy, a new father, the most enthusiastic, highly energized person I've ever served with in 19, however many years I've been around public service. But that being said, I'll go on to some of the things that the mayor issued, or issues she raised. And what I did, I went back 10 years or so with the accommodations tax and did a little homework. And what I've learned is somewhat interesting. And we've had some, I would say, some dysfunction from the city standpoint over the years. You know, initially there was a state accommodations tax of 2%. And when you exceed a threshold, and they've got some formula as to how they allocate that money, it's based on nights and lodging locations and all that. And if you exceed a threshold of $50,000, you have to have a committee. Well, we exceed that threshold, and we've had an accommodations tax committee in place for many, many years, since before I got here. In 19, we added a 3% accommodations tax, and that can be a city thing or a combination of county and city. Lexington County does not do it on they do their own thing, but we do a 3%. This 30% carve out that we continue to talk about is part of that state thing. And again, we meet that threshold. So I went back about 10 years and tried to get through some minutes, and that's a lot of minutes to go through over 10 years. And I had some help. And in 15, you know, our number was like $19,000. And at that time, we gave $18,000 to the chamber and $1,000 to the Columbia Metro Convention and Visitor Center, which is now Experience Columbia. It's like a DEA type thing. And in 16, there was some it's confusing as to what actually happened, but it appeared to be almost the same numbers, 18,000 to one and 1,000 to the other. 17, the notes came back, no request from either organization. It was tabled to May 17th. It was tabled until after May 23rd. No 30% request, but the minutes sort of reflect that we did give some money. And again, at that time, there were really two entities involved. What is now Experience Columbia in the chamber. And the interesting thing is somehow it gleaned underlined, they do not have to submit an application to receive funding. I don't think that's quite accurate. The law, the statute, from what I understand, sort of leaves it up to the city, and it would only be prudent to have some sort of process. 2018, no 30% requests were submitted, but in the minutes, Katina Taylor said that since the two visitors had already received their money, again, cryptic as to what actually happened. Minutes are 2019 is hard to read. 2020, COVID, I don't know if they didn't collect the money or the legislature just said, you know, it's all good this year. We didn't make any award. In 22 is when the third entity, Lake Murray Chamber, entered the picture. And then we had three agencies or entities, you know, vying for this money. And we awarded various amounts for 22, 23, 24, and then obviously here we are in 25. But again, reverting back to the law, not only do you have to submit a budget, which we're addressing here tonight, it also says that you need to come back at some point before the next allocation, the next fiscal year, and somewhat explain, justify, present where you spent this money. If you look at the number of awards that we have made since, again, 15, it's where I went back. Roughly 10 years to the Chamber, 10 years to the Experience Columbia, and 4 years or so to Lake Murray Country, less the COVID years. And again, I don't know, 20 or so awards over that time period. I can only find where one entity came back and presented what they did with the money. Now, I went back and looked. In our packet this time was the award letter that we sent to the chamber here last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever we made the first vote. And it refers to that in the award letter. But a question, okay, it refers to it. Does the city, do we do a follow-up that says, you know, you need to present before your next application, you need to present in January? It's at best convoluted, what we've done. We haven't, quote, played by the rules, I don't think, from day one. Certainly nothing malicious going on, absolutely not. These are great entities. The money went to the right place and it was used properly. I'm not in any way implying that. But be darned if I'm gonna hold this latest applicant, I'm not gonna call them to task that you didn't come present what you did with the money last year when I hadn't asked anybody to do it for at least 10 years. I don't know, again, there may be one more in there or two more in there that I couldn't find that did come back and present, but I think, and all that buck stops up here. Staff's done a wonderful job. I went back and looked at applicants too. And again, I'm still talking about the 30% money, not all the other bowl tournaments and all that good stuff. All that's great. The application looked like this one year. It looked like this the next year. We've been all over the place. I think we hadn't done well as a city. And building a good administrative rule, procedures and protocol is how to handle this money. It's by statute, it's a law. I mean, so it's obviously important, but like any law, I've read it. The mayor's obviously read it. I'm not a lawyer. I got one lawyer sitting right here. And should we hold, so these people have come back and let us know what to do with the money? Absolutely. Did we ask them to? I don't know. We may have, we may not have. I don't know that in, you know, that when we make a vote, you know, staff takes over. Again, this is by no means targeted at staff. This is our deal. We need to do better. And I think starting after this situation, it's gonna be one of my top fives for our next city manager, is we gotta clean this up a little bit. We gotta make it very clear. It's also unclear, I mean, I could read this crazy law that says, you know, this committee is going to react to this money after the 30% is carved out. And it says city councils have the sole discretion to reject, accept, or modify any recommendations. Well, that's what we chose to do. So all that being said, we need to take a look in our mirror, this council does a little bit, at what we direct staff to do and clean this thing up a little better. Again, the money's going to good causes. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, we need to get some updates. Well, yeah, it's too late. We can't unring the bell. What happened 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 years ago? That money's done. But yes, we need to see where the money, what you're going to do with it, and if you did it. And again, I know Mr. Carlson over there, this is his last night, so it'll be on the next manager's plate to, we got to establish a protocol as to when we ask these folks to come back. And, but I did find some old notes, which is interesting, that I got a pretty good memory for things, and I can go back to the fall of 2021. I asked, one year we continued to delay it, and you got 2 years to spend this money. I mean, we do it sort of at budget time, and while it appears to be part of the budget, it's not part of the general budget. It's a special, and if we don't do it to the fall, it's not the end of the world, because again, we do have 2 years. But I asked in the fall of 21 to the staff then, I need an update. I need to know how this thing works, how much money we can carry over. Train me on what's going on. to this day, I've never gotten that. So I've learned a lot in the last few days doing my homework. Again, we can cite the law. I mean, it says we have to report it once a year, and actually after we vote, the city has to report it back to the state. Again, staff thankfully does all that stuff for us. They do a good job. But, Mayor, all that being said, I'm ready to proceed with my motion tonight, and go ahead and, like you asked, to put on the agenda for next meeting, a little more definitive, updated, as far as this is a budget, it's not a budget I'm used to looking at, but I don't think it's our job to tell people how to do their own budgets. But I would take, you say it's not city of taxpayers' money, and I would, I will not concede that point, because any money we collect that comes in our coffers, it's taxpayers' money. We collect it on behalf of the taxpayers, and we spend it on behalf of the taxpayers. It's their money. So, but again, thank you for your time, and yeah, it was September of 21, just for the record. That's when I asked for that information. So, Mayor, again, I'm ready to call for the vote. To you very much.
Well, thank you. Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Mayor, may I make a quick comment? Just to clarify for the record, Councilman Carter referred, I believe, may have mentioned Councilman Thomas being on a board with the chamber. I just wanted to clarify that my understanding is he's not on a board, he's on a volunteer committee.
You're correct, sir. I misspoke.
But
I apologize.
It could be a relevant distinction in this context. Since he's not here to clarify, I wanted to do that.
But he's on the board of the foundation for the chamber.
My understanding is that Councilman Thomas is on the board of a foundation that's affiliated with, but legally distinct from the chamber. But not on the board of the chamber itself.
Yes, and that foundation handles the run. And last year, they did a grant application, the run did, to 501c3 for some funding, and he rightfully recused himself then. Thank you.
Thank you. And Phil, thanks for all those comments.
You're welcome.
Who was the one entity that gave us the update?
Lake Mary Country. Lake Mary Country was January of 24, I believe they were here.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got it written on his minutes somewhere.
Yeah,
February 24th, 2024.
nice.
Ms.
Thank you.
Adra was here.
I'm really glad you pulled all that information out. That was good. You did a good job pulling that up for today. But we do have an accommodations tax committee, and it does concern me that for 2 years in a row, this council as a body has ignored the recommendation that comes from that committee. It's certainly council's prerogative, but something that we should take into account. And while all of that is good information about the past, what I'm looking at is the present. And we have businesses that are counting on us. We have a responsibility. The tax responsibility to our citizens, you're right, Councilmember Carter, is extremely important, but don't confuse that this money comes from them, unless you guys stay in Cayce hotels sometimes, and then you would pay it. But that's usually not what Cayce citizens are doing. This is people from other places, so it'd be what other people are paying when they come here. Are y'all comfortable with supporting a budget that says it's going to hire a dedicated employee when that may not be legal?
Well, it's interesting. Again, I'm certainly not a lawyer by any stretch, but there's words actually in the law that if you don't have an entity, you can create one, council can, to give this money to, which we certainly have. We're way past that. So that would lead me to believe that they're in compliance.
No, you can create an entity, but they have to use the money for advertising and promotion of tourism. That cannot pay for salaries.
Perhaps, again, that's a legal thing. I don't know that answer.
Are y'all comfortable missing out on the matching money from the state?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that budget presented tonight. That's the matter at hand.
Okay.
I
Well,
have
I'll
no,
call-
this is, for me, Mayor, if I might, it's never been about them other two entities. They're a wonderful entity. They do well. They're good companies. They do a lot. Again, as I said last time, my motivation here is just simply leaving the money local. And those two other they're great things. I've done websites. I've went back years and looked at what their interests are, what they've done, what they do. And I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm very comfortable with what I did. So, again, thank you.
Okay, I'll call the question.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes,
Mayor?
No.
Mayor, may I bring a point of order?
Sure.
Yeah, it's my understanding that our ordinance, that what we just did here is substantive legislation, and that we cannot pass substantive legislation with only 2 affirmations. We need 3. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir. Procedural votes can be passed by a 2-1 vote, but anything other than a procedural vote requires an affirmative 3 vote.
And this is not procedural.
Correct. So this would not pass the motion.
So if the motion failed, what does that mean?
Well, candidly, the state statute does not address this particular situation where you've got an approval of the allocation and a selection of the entity to receive this pot of money, but you do not have a vote to approve the budget they've submitted. My opinion is that those are 2 separate issues, and so the money has been allocated, and I think the city is really required to go ahead and disperse it to the entity that's been selected based on the vote at the last meeting. As to the next steps, council certainly could request that the recipient, the chamber in this situation, resubmit a budget in a different format with different details, different information. But either way, I believe that state law requires that it be dispersed at the start of the fiscal year.
Well, Will, I'd ask you that since the statute says that they shall present this budget prior to the next fiscal year, our next meeting's after the beginning of the fiscal year, would they be in violation of the?
Well, I can say that they have submitted this information, these numbers, prior to the start of the fiscal year. If they wanted to submit new information for council to consider again, I believe they certainly could. But it seems to me, again, the law is not clear on this specific unusual situation, but they have at least checked the box of submitting it for council's review.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next item is discussion and approval of memorandum of
Let me go
understanding.
get those gentlemen, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
One sec.
Good. Okay, next item is discussion and approval of memorandum of understanding for solar project.
Madam Member, members of council, Central Midlands Council of Governments, did their presentation. and they're talking about the MOU presented today as the first step in the project and has no cost commitment from any party at this time, and any party can withdraw at any time. The MOU provides a structure for all parties to collaborate on the project's RFP bid and review process and have discussions, co-investment once the project's costs or projected profits are known. At that time, the MOU would be replaced by an intergovernmental IGA, intergovernmental agreement, with greater detail and commitments. Staff recommends council authorize city manager to execute the memorandum of understanding with Columbia Water, East Richland Utilities, and Richland County, which will allow collaboration with these regional utilities on the grant-funded solar project. There is no financial commitment at this time.
Thank you. Is there a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the MOU?
Move that we authorize the city manager to execute the MOU.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? This is very
Great way to
exciting.
generate energy savings.
You see in the white paper is that we sell that power back to Dominion when it wasn't used. I've never heard that.
Nice presentation, too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. All right, next we have discussion and approval of contract award for sewer system master plan and hydraulic model.
Council approval is needed to accept Ardura's Group, W.K. Dixon's proposal for the city's sewer system master plan and hydraulic model project and authorize the city manager to execute the contract. For this work, staff recommends council approve the acceptance of the proposal from Ardura W.K. Dixon to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a contract with the consultant. The cost for this project was approved in the FY25 Utilities Administration budget of $325,000.
And I hate to do this, Jamie, I'm so sorry, but the download of the application is glitching. Is yours?
I'm good. Do you want the memo, which is right there, or do you want the?
No, I'd like to be able to have it. I've tried to reload it twice, Jamie, but I don't know why it's glitching.
That's what Phil has.
Yeah, but thank you. Well, yeah, but it's either, I don't want to hold it for the rest of the meeting.
Well, I got the city one right here, bro.
It's like Jamie's on the way to the rescue.
See how it wrote down? I've reloaded it twice.
How old is that computer?
Pretty
That's not bad. I don't know why I thought it was
Sewer.
older than that.
System master plan. And then we-
It's crazy. I'm about due for another one of these.
That's right, I can just use this. Okay, sorry, you were saying?
Recommend council approve the acceptance of the proposal from Ardura and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a contract with the consultant. The cost of this project was approved in the 25 Utilities Administration budget of $325,000.
Thank you. Did we do an RFP for
RFP.
this?
Yes, ma'am.
And this was the
RFP.
only response?
There were 6.
Right.
There were 6, thank you.
There's 6. It was the
Okay.
top scorer.
I'm not seeing it. I don't
So
know.
I move that we approve the acceptance of proposal from Ardura W.K. Dixon and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a contract with the consultant.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
None. Thank you for the presentation.
Yes. Thank you, Jeremy. I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. Next, we have discussion and approval to ratify an agreement approved by the city manager under the emergency powers of section 2-146 with G.H. Smith Construction Incorporated for the emergency repair of a sewer main failure.
Council approval is needed to order to ratify an agreement approved by the city manager underneath the emergency powers with G.H. Smith Construction on May 15, 2025 for the emergency repair of a sewer line main failure that was located on American Avenue. The project consists of replacing approximately 275 linear feet of pipe, reconnection services, repair of asphalt driveways, and roadway curb and gutter. The price quoted for the emergency repair was $48,325. Staff recommends council ratify the city manager's action executing an agreement with G.H. Smith Construction for $48,325, which will be funded from the utilities, wastewater collection, O&M budget.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the staff recommendation?
Motion to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks. Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have committee matters. You have before you a request for approval to enter the following committee minutes, the following minutes into the city's record. You have the Accommodations Tax Committee that met on May 13th, 2025.
Move that we approve the Accommodations Tax Committee minutes and enter them into the record.
Second.
Any discussion? Will you scroll up some more, Mindy?
I'm sorry.
Will you scroll up?
Up or this way?
Yeah, thank you. All right, I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have the city manager's report.
Yes. FEMA was in the city last Wednesday touring our river walk in Granby Park for the storm damage from Helene. We have received quote for the demolition of the pavilion. That will come to council for approval in July. Allison with the finance crew are prepared to load the 25-26 budget on July 1. We have implemented our Avenues Drainage Project communication procedures, flyers and door hangers with instruction on ways to receive the real-time updates. With that, starting July 14th, the Naples entrance to the Riverwalk will be closed for construction. We'll have a better timeline for the next meeting. Mike will have that prepared for you. The Cayce Historical Museum will be hosting the Celebration of Freedom this Saturday. They'll have a storyteller from 9 to 10 in the morning, then a Sweetgrass craft maker from 10 to 12. That's a free event. Juneteenth celebration at the Speedway this Saturday also with food trucks and music. That will be over at 9:30. They have not requested any noise extensions or anything like that, so. The police department will be hosting their character camp from July 14th through 24th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Breakfast and lunch will be provided. Still some spots available, so sign up at caycepd.com. The second annual Cayce Cool Down will be July 26th from 11 to 1. Turned out to be a huge event last year for us, so want to join and attend. That's all I have.
Thank you. You said, all right, you said demolition of the pavilion? Which pavilion?
That's down here at Granby Park.
The Granby, okay, thank you. And then what's the timing of the Riverwalk repairs for getting that back open?
We're still receiving information on that too. So that's the boardwalk. So we'll have an update for you.
Okay. And you said Naples Avenue entrance to the Riverwalk will be closed with the storm drainage repair, but will we put out where people can access it in other places?
Yes, yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Maybe even a sign right
Alternate
there at
routes.
the gate telling people where they can go if they don't see any of our information, but they can, if they show up there, they immediately know where they can go to access it. Okay, thank you. And then Juneteenth, don't we have something with the museum?
Yes.
You said that.
No, I thought that's at the Speedway?
The Cayce Historical Museum will be hosting the Celebration of Freedom this Saturday at the museum. the storyteller from 9 to 10.
Oh, right, sorry.
There was two different events.
Yes, got it. Thank you, perfect. I appreciate that. Okay. Council comments?
I do want to go back and just elaborate on the Naples Avenue Park. I mean, will it be completely shut down or?
Completely closed, no way you can get through there. And that's because of the entrance, that roadway.
Yeah.
Right when you make that left turn, that's all going to be taken out. And they'll have to put two head walls with the pipe through there too.
So, as the mayor was saying, this is one of those things that I'd love to be able to over-communicate as quickly as we can. There's a great deal of people that utilize that every single day. That's their form of enjoyment. Actually, they go every day, so the sooner we can start letting them know, I would appreciate it.
That's the first one out tomorrow, isn't it?
We have working outside.
Yeah, I just fear a lot of those folks don't live close by and maybe travel in to be able to utilize it. The more we can communicate, that would be good. There's a lot of people down there every day. I need to tell y'all, there's a lot of people down there. I do have two things that have come to my attention over the last couple of weeks that I think it's important for us to refer over to the Planning Commission. You notice that in the news here of late, tragic incident across the river at a short-term rental. And I know that we've discussed in the past, but we've really never come to a conclusion on what do we do for VRBO, what do we do for Airbnb. I believe that other cities sometimes wish they would have gotten a hold on it before it got as big as it was. And tragic situation in Columbia occurred, and now they're putting a moratorium in. And I certainly understand why they would have to take such action. We're fortunate right now in the vast majority, what I understand of being short-term rentals are owned by people who are respectful, and we don't have a lot of complaints. And I think those folks would be the first to tell you that they would like to have some type of procedure in place to ensure that the folks that are going to be utilizing the short-time rentals are utilizing it for the right reasons so that the people who live close by are not disturbed because of it. And I believe we need to look into that pretty seriously while we're still ahead of it. And speaking with give it to the people who do own some of these short-term rentals, they want that too, because they don't want their business to be harmed because of something bad. So I'd love for us to either jump deeper into that or refer it over to, it's the whole reason, we have a planning commission. That doesn't mean that we always have to take 100% of what they say, but we do want those 6 or 7 people to give us their guidance on what they think. The second thing is we're continuing to grow, has come to my attention, is what they refer to as lighting pollution. And I don't think you really recognize what it is until a larger business is built behind you, and then they've got bright lights that shine all night. And when you look at our ordinances, Mike, we're not deep in that yet about lighting pollution. And as we continue to grow like we do with the city, we need to get ahead of that too before something like that is allowed and then someone close by is disturbed because of it. So I'd encourage you guys to please just either dive into both of those topics or refer those over to Planning Commission. I'd love to hear more about it.
That's great, thank you. Go ahead.
Staff has moved the African American cemeteries to its priority list, and Jim has West Crosby working on it. It's important that we finish the job so families can respectfully pay their respects to their ancestors. Remember the 2023 Stantec survey that was done. They state in their survey most of the cemeteries doing this project will benefit from additional vegetation removal and ground penetrating radar testing. Let's strive to be a community that finishes the job so our citizens can pay their respects. I brought to Jim's attention regarding the safety of our new Wi-Fi system at our city parks. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Jane, for, I found out doing my little research that you were the spearhead of getting all of our city parks the Lumos free Wi-Fi. So I just want to pay your respect for that, so thank you. But yes, I've been speaking with Jim about the safety of our new Wi-Fi by creating an ordinance to make sure illegal activity is not going to be tolerated, as we want our public to be safe while using the Wi-Fi, but also we just want to make sure that nothing falls back on the city if people are doing illegal activities at our city parks. So, Jim, when can we expect that to reach the agenda?
It should be July or August.
Okay, perfect. In other news, a constituent sent the mayor and council a very, very sweet email that she told me that she would love for me to share to y'all. So I'm just going to share a little bit of it. It's in regards to our amazing Cayce City parks. I ride by our parks often. I have followed the work with Glenwood Park. I was tickled to go by several times and see the basketball court being used by our young people. What a great opportunity for Cayce Police to build rapport with our youth by shooting a hoop or two with them while patrolling. And I heard that Chief Wade has a beautiful jump shot, so I can't wait to hear him being out there with the kids. I've seen young and old children enjoying swinging on the new swings while others waited for their turn. It's wonderful to see. Thank you. Jim, thank you for showing our citizens what investment looks like. When we invest in our parks, we invest in our families. I'm not sure if y'all driving by Glenwood, but every time I drive by and I just see the park flooded with kids, I just get excited because, I said this at our last meeting, I never forget being at Glenwood and a parent stopping their car and just getting out and just taking in like the moment of just seeing so many kids at Glenwood Park. So, excuse me for my excitement, but this is what we sit up here for, people. We sit up here to see this enjoyment, to figure out how we can bring our community together. And so when I say our C stands for community, I really mean it. Jim, thank you so much for working to look at additional basketball courts in our city, since Glenwood Park is such a hit. So I can't wait to see that. But I just want to remind everyone, the longer we wait to upgrade our city parks, the fewer opportunities we're giving our current middle and high school students the opportunity to continue to enjoy our city parks. I had a parent call me 2 weeks ago. They were in Riverland Park at Kelly Jones Park, and their 11-year-old looked at them and said, hey, what's here for me? Because they had outgrown the playground equipment, and they left the park. And so you remember when you were young, remember that time is precious. Sorry, I get emotional because I got a child. But we got to remember, these kids, they don't get this time. Once they get 18, they don't get that enjoyment, that innocence anymore. So, excuse my passion for how I am about getting our city parks some TLC, but it means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to council for us to do the right thing and find out how we can not only upgrade our city parks, but figure out how we can keep the middle schoolers and high schoolers to go there so they can continue to build a relationship which trickles into our school systems so that they have a better relationship and we're not having problems in our community because our kids are playing together and our families are together. So I just want everyone to realize that we're going to continue to fight for our city parks, and I just really appreciate the support that we've gotten so far from hearing from people talk about how beautiful Glenwood Park is. And last, Jim, I hope you have good endeavors at the town of Irmo, and they're getting a great city manager. So thank you.
Thank you.
Beat me to it. You'll be missed sitting up here with us and missed in this room. You've made a huge impact on our city over the more than a decade you've been here, and we greatly appreciate that. And good luck in Irmo. We'll miss you. I'm glad you won't be far. And I know we got a couple more days of working with you, but just want to make sure that you know how much I appreciate you and what you've done for our city.
Thank you. Bittersweet.
Again, ditto that appreciation. Job well done. Godspeed. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you know I said a lot when you made the announcement about leaving, but you did pick up a hot bowling ball for us and you ran with it, and we're immensely grateful. Thank you. All right, we have executive session for receipt of legal advice relating to claims and potential claims by and against the city and other matters covered by the attorney-client privilege. We have a claim for improvements to Taylor Street at New State Road, and we have discussion of an employment matter for the city manager position. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session for said reasons?
Motion to move into executive session, Mayor.
Second.
I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you so much. moved?
I told these folks I'd come back out in.
Oh, okay. All right.
We do have some people that wait.
Lynn, thank you.
Thank you for everything, guys, all of you. That's it.
All right, so no action was taken in executive session except to come back out into regular session. I don't believe we have any possible actions by council and follow-up, but council has asked to meet again on Monday to continue our discussions around the city manager position. We'll narrow down that time and send that out. Staff will send that out. Once we figure that out, they'll send it out on Friday. So everybody will know what time on Monday that we're meeting, and of course, notice that meeting properly. Is that everything?
I think that's it.
Is everything? Okay, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Excuse me, Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you so much.
Good night, everybody. Good night.